George, this was a case that captivated the world, generated worldwide headlines and assumptions that the man you're about to meet was trying to kill 84 people on a plane, including himself. But this morning here, he and his wife, they are asking you to set aside what you think you know about this case and hear their story in their own words.
I did something unfathomable to me, something I have to take responsibility for, and I regret.
This morning, Joseph Emerson, the Alaska Airlines pilot, now facing 84 charges after allegedly trying to take down a passenger jet in October, speaking on camera for the first time as he awaits trial.
Sarah and I would like our story to be of some value, right? We think it tells the larger story on pilot health.
It was last October when Emerson was catching a ride in the cockpit jump seat on a flight from Everett, Washington to San Francisco, when he says nothing felt real.
There was a feeling of being trapped. Like, am I trapped in this airplane? This is not real. I need to wake up.
Emerson says he had taken psychedelic mushrooms for the first time 2 days before the flight, thinking they might help with depression, but believes he was still hallucinating during that flight. He stood up and pulled handles in the cockpit that are meant to shut off the engines in the case of a fire. It didn't work, and if it had, that could have brought the plane down.
There are 2 red handles in front of my face, thinking that I was going to wake up, thinking this is my way to get out of this unreal reality. I reached up and I grabbed and I pulled the levers.
Did you know what the levers were at the time?
What I thought is, this is going to wake me up. I know what those levers do in a real airplane, right? And I need to wake up from this. It's 30 seconds of my life I wish I could change, and I can't. Observe the pilots react to the difficult situation that I just handed. And I said, you guys want me off the flight deck? I'm off the flight deck.
He left the cockpit, listened to one of the pilots.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
Emerson says he then tried to grab the handle of an emergency exit door, but a flight attendant stopped him.
And I put my hand on the lever. I didn't operate the lever. She put her hand on mine. And I think around that period is when I said, I don't understand what's real. I need you to tough cuff me.
In the air, he texted his wife.
You text me, I've made a big mistake.
And what were you thinking at that point?
I was like, what in the hell is he talking about? And I immediately got on FlightAware, because that's how I can track him. And I saw that the plane was diverted. And I think I texted him back, is this because of you?
Emerson says he'd been struggling with some form of depression ever since his best friend Scott suddenly passed away, but didn't turn to a psychiatrist for medication, worrying a formal diagnosis could end his career. He instead turned to alcohol and eventually those psychedelic mushrooms in October.
Coming into this, I hadn't really been sleeping a lot the night that I took the magic mushrooms, and I did not sleep that night. And so this cumulative sleep deficit, I believe, may have also impacted just my perception of what was going on.
Emerson now speaking about it all in the new documentary The New York Times presents Lie to Fly on FX, as he and his wife focus on increasing awareness about mental health in the cockpit.
Right now, there's a perception out there that if you raise your hand and say something's not right, there's a very real possibility that you don't fly again.
At least one doctor saying at an NTSB summit in December, it's time to modernize the mental health regulations for pilots.
Who would you rather fly with, a pilot who's depressed or a pilot who's depressed on medication? And that's what it comes down to.
I think if pilots and controllers were able to obtain a proper diagnosis and be in a proper course of treatment, and if they're safe in that course of treatment, right, keep pilots, controllers undergoing treatment who are safe on the job, I think that's a better system.
Emerson faces 83 counts of recklessly endangering another person and 1 count of endangering aircraft in first degree. He's pleaded not guilty. Incredibly, he says, this has made his marriage and relationship with his children much stronger.
I'm doing the best I can to work through that process right now. And I'm better for it, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But I really am better for all of this. It's not the way I would have engineered, but I'm just doing my best today.
And Emerson is now not allowed to fly or leave the state. He and his wife, Sarah, they've started a nonprofit called Clear Skies Ahead. They hope to fund studies surrounding medical care for pilots, whether it's mental health or physical. He is sharing his entire story and his mental health initiative in the new documentary on FX called The New York Times Presents Lie to Fly. It airs tonight at 10 p.m. on FX and streams tomorrow on Hulu. But they really seem committed on this issue of pilot mental health and physical health. In fact, his wife has tattooed on her arm, Clear Skies Ahead.
What a story that is.
Yeah.
Truly, and thank goodness no one on that flight was ultimately hurt after all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, Gio, thanks.